Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य शीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय शीला प्रभुपाद की जय. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas College Station, welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not to have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to our next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all joined this morning?
हरे कृष्ण विनीता माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शाल हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your association. Welcome to the call.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call. Today you are celebrating Mataji Vyasa Puja, or did you celebrate yesterday?
No, yesterday was Thanksgiving, so nobody came. So we are celebrating on Sunday.
Oh, but actually Tithi is yesterday or today?
For us yesterday, I think.
Yesterday, okay. Hare
We
Krishna.
fasted on yesterday.
Yesterday, okay, nice. Nice, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Happy Vyasa Puja to you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Kandarika Mataji. Dandavat Pranam to you, Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Assembled devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Benita Gandarvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Shushmita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day, chanting so beautifully. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandarvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devi Dasi from Elcon.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karuna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining, and all glories to your wonderful services. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Very happy to see all the devotees, even though holidays, everybody is up and they are on the call. So much determination. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Is there anybody? Okay. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Akhanda Liladhar Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 13th chapter, 1 to 5 verses. So we are starting today new chapter. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Param Bhavani Shama Mataji to take over from here and give a brief introduction about today's speaker.
Hare Krishna, dear Mataji. Thank you so much for the opportunity of serving of the introduction. Mataji, can I keep the video off because I'm reading through this device only?
Sure, Mataji, definitely. Please read it.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, our speaker, His Grace Akhanda Liladhar Prabhuji, is a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He joined ISKCON in 2012 and got initiated in 2013. By academic qualification, he is BE in economics and Japanese language and worked as a translator for 10 years. Within 5 years, he mastered Indian classical music, Vastu Sastra, handwriting analysis, and numerology. He achieved Bhakti Shastri in 2016 and received second initiation in 2017 and also achieved Bhakti Vaibhava this year 2024. Currently, he relentlessly serving through congregation and youth preaching, book distribution, delivering lectures, and opening centers. Here we offered a very brief introduction to our today's speaker, His Grace Akhanda Liladhar Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear Mataji, over to you. Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for that brief introduction. We have Prabhuji on the call already. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. I now hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for again inviting. Am I audible now?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you and see you. It's very clear.
Okay, very clear. Na? Okay, thank you so much for again inviting me and giving me this opportunity to serve you all devotees. And so should I start today?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashta Prayeshu Bhadareshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshtarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानंद माधवं श्री गुरु दीनतारिणम् अज्ञानात् अथवा ज्ञानात् अशुभं यन्मया कृतं शन्तुमरस्य तत्सर्वं दास्येनैव ग्रहणं मम प्रतिज्ञा तव गोविन्दं नमे भक्त प्रणश्यति इति संस्मृत्य प्राणान् सन्धारयामि अहम्. So once again, we will continue Srimad Bhagavatam and opening verse of 13th chapter. Of 7th canto. So before that, you must have heard all the prayers of pacifying Lord Narasimha. And after that, Sri Narad Muni is explaining about Varnashrama Dharma to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And now this chapter wherein the behavior traits of sannyasi renunciate and what we can gain and what we can learn from it and how much to implement in our life, that we will try to understand. What will be our practical implementation or utility of from this particular chapter verses. So beginning with the first verse, so you can recite with me. Shri Narada Vacha Kalpasva evam परिव्रज्य
कल्पस्य एवं परिव्रज्य
देहमात्रावशेषितः ग्रामैकरात्रविधिना निरपेक्षश्चरेन्महीम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Narad Muni said, a person able to cultivate spiritual knowledge should renounce all material connections and merely keeping the body inhabitable. He should travel from one place to another, passing only one night in each village. In this way, without dependence in regard to the needs of the body, the sannyasi should travel all over the world. So trying to understand this translation first. So sannyasi, this is how a sannyasi should be in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter, where the sannyasis explain there are different types of sannyasis. Karyam itteva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna sangam tyakta phalam chaiva satyaga satviko matah. Renunciation in the mode of goodness is that when you perform your duty, but you renounce the fruits. That is the best sort of renunciation. Dukkham itteva yat karma kaya klesha bhayat teja satyaga naiva tyaga phalam labhet. Satyaga rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labhet. And that renunciation, when one accepts, when he is fed up of the material things, and he has to run away from the material duties. And in other words, if he is lazy and he wants to just relax, just fearing the body tribulations or the hard work which one has to do while maintaining the family, just run away from that responsibility. Dukkham ittevyat karma kaya klesha bhayat tejet, by fear of bodily exertion. when one takes renunciation, that sort of renunciation will bear no fruit. That is rajasi, or renunciation in the mode of passion. So there are different types of renunciation explained even in Bhagavad Gita. But here in Varnashrama Dharma, there are two Varnashramas. One is Daivi Varnashrama and one is Varnashrama. So Srila Prabhupada stressed on Daivi Varnashrama Dharma, where Krishna is the center of everything. Grihe thake, vane thake, sada hari bole dake. One is living in forest or whether one is living in house. If he is Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious, there is no issue. There are several times Srila Prabhupada is writing that a sannyas, even there is no need to take sannyas for one who is already Krishna conscious. So, depending on the ability, depending on the circumstances and situations, and as per the advice of the spiritual master, one can accept sannyas renunciation order. Obviously, renunciation is mainly for a man. And here in Narad Muni is saying that a person able to cultivate spiritual knowledge should renounce. I just want to ask whether my voice is audible to you or there is some sound is coming, because
No, Prabhuji, it's very clear.
very
We
clear,
hear
right?
you nicely, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So this person is able to cultivate spiritual knowledge should renounce all material connections. This is a very important factor in spiritual life. Although we are living in a family or although we are living in a society, ati asanna vinashaya, yasya sneha tasya bhayam, sneha dukkhasya bhajanam. Wherever there is attachment, there will be misery, there is fear. There is attachment, fear of losing that person. Wherever there is attachment, there is misery. Sneha dukkhasya bhajanam, sneha dukkhani mulani, tyana tyakta vasit sukham. Chanakya Pandit says. If a person really wants to become happy, he has to become detached. So our understanding of detachment is very different. Yukta vairagya. Prapanchakataya buddhya, hari sambandhi vasana mukshovi parityagi, vairagyam phalgu tarkatyate. That renunciation is very immature. When you leave everything, even that things which are coming in service, or that thing which has utility in service to Lord Krishna. Like a stereotype sannyasi is not supposed to leave India country, the Bharatvarsha, or Bharat Rashtra. Or a sannyasi should not travel by crossing the ocean. But Srila Prabhupada has done that. So this stereotype of the idea, Prabhupada has left it, and the principle is that yena kena prakarena mana Krishna nivase. That how to engage everyone in the Krishna service. Although a sannyasi is not supposed to accept Aishwarya or opulence, but if we see Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was the one who was using Rolls-Royce cars. That time only a Viceroy had that car, and second car was having this used by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because for preaching purpose, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was using opulence in order to attract Britishers, also in order to influence Britishers. At that point of time, Indians were enamored by the opulence of Britishers. And in order to attract general mass as well as the Britishers to influence them, so Bhakti Siddhanta Thakurji used opulence. So similarly here, but the main principle we have to understand, not getting attached. That is very important. So merely keeping the body inhabitable. Kamasena indrapati labho jiveta yavata. One must maintain body, but not at the cost of spiritual life. Investing one's time, important time, in gym for 2 hours and not able to chant. There are some, when we preach, many youths, or they say, I want to go to gym and this and that. No problem, you can go to gym, but don't invest so much time for the body that you don't get any time for spiritual upliftment. So we don't negate body, but definitely body, because when Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was a conversation when Sanatana Goswami was suffering from leprosy. And he was not able to walk properly also. And he was not associating with any people, any Vaishnavas also. Why? Because his body was full of dirt. And there was worms on his body. And that's why he was thinking that during the Rath Yatra, I should come and I should give up my life in front of the Rath of Jagannath. Many people have this idea, even nowadays also people have this idea that if I want to die, I want to die in front of Jagannath. So this was the idea. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there in Jagannath Puri and he saw Sanatana Goswami, he embraced him. And Sanatana Goswami was saying, don't embrace me, I'm full of dirt. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for him there is nothing Mangal and Amangal, there is nothing like this. So Sanatana Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami that, what do you think? That whose body is this? This is not your body, this is my body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhirevacha Ahankara Vityame Bhinna Prakriti Rashchada. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that fire, earth, water, ether, everything, all the 5 elements are nothing but my potency. And this body is made of all these 5 elements. So we are not the proprietor of the body. Lord Krishna is the proprietor of the body. Therefore, the main business of this body is to use this body in Lord's purpose. And obviously, we need a proper health for that also. So looking after the body is not a problem. But kamasana indriya pritir, but not for the sake of sense gratification. A limited requirement. You have to eat. So eat what is required for you. Don't, like there are people who live to eat. And there are people who eat to live. So we should follow this eating to live and not to living to eat. So nature can satisfy everyone's need, but nature cannot satisfy anyone's greed. So the point to be noted here that the body and the soul should be, just to maintain the body and soul together, one can take care of the body, even for a sannyasi. Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasa karmasya yukta swapnava bodhasya yoga bhavati dukkha. Krishna says one should not fast too much, or one should not eat too much. One should not sleep too much, neither he should sleep less. Then only he can become yogi. Everything should be in a balance. Whatever is required to be taken. He should travel from one place to another. Obviously, if he lives for a long time in one place, then there can be an attachment. Like usually a family man has this attachment for their house. They don't want to leave their house. And even after traveling, like if they want to shift, if they want to sleep somewhere else, they don't get sleep properly in some other place. Because they're accustomed to sleeping in one place, it's very difficult for them to have sleep in another place. So this sort of attachment one should avoid. So slowly and gradually he should be able to sleep anywhere. Slowly and gradually he should be able to eat anything like normal. If it is roti sabzi, okay, that is fine. If it is only rice, that is fine. Because we have to minimize our attachment to this body. That is very important for a sannyasi. And someday or the other, each and every person has to become a sannyasi, either in both way, in appearance as well as internal absorption, or just by internal absorption. Obviously, everyone is not going to wear saffron robes, but at least internally one should become sannyasi. That is very important. In a day-to-day life, you should act like a sannyasi. Obviously, this will happen gradually, but so you should not stay in one place. You should travel from one place to another, passing only one night in each village. Like Goswamis, they used to sleep under a tree, and they should change every day different trees. So in order to show that they will not have attachment for one particular tree. So that was their idea. So in this way, without dependence in regard to the needs of the body, the sannyasi should travel all over the world. Jagat Guru. Many times sannyasi is called a Jagat Guru. Because Jagat mein Brahman karta hai. They just travel all around the world in order to preach Krishna consciousness. That is the real business of a sannyasi. Like a real business of a brahmachari, the main business is swadhyaya. Okay? Reading scriptures and serving Guru, spiritual master. And the real business of Grihastha is to do charity and serve the devotees and sannyasis and gurus or Vaishnavas, call them in your house and serve them and do charity. That is the real business of a Grihastha. Vanaprastha, the real business is performing austerity, becoming gradually detached from the bodily needs. And the real business of sannyasi is to preach the Vedic knowledge, is to preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. So these are the main business of different ashrams. So next verse. Bibhryadya asau vasah
यदि असौ वासः
kaupi nachadanam param
कोऽपि न चादनं परम्
tyaktam na linga dandader
त्यक्तं न लिङ्गादण्डादेर्
anyat kinchid anapadi.
न किञ्चित् अनापदि.
So a person in the renounced order of life may try to avoid even a dress to cover himself. If he wears anything at all, it should be only a loin cloth. That is kaupina in Sanskrit. And when there is no necessity, a sannyasi should not even accept a danda. A sannyasi should avoid carrying anything but a danda and kamandalu. So for a traditional sannyasi, this is a rule. Minimizing the bodily needs. That is the main principle you have to understand here. Okay? And nowadays, we cannot imitate this right now. If we try to imitate, then we will not be able to preach. That's why Jainism sect is very difficult for them to preach. Because especially the Shwetambar and Digambar, they are too much renunciate. It's very difficult for them to preach because the mainstream people will never accept them. The mainstream people will not, the general mass will not, associate with those people freely. So that's why all that's unavoidable right now, even for a brahmacharya sannyasi, he has to face the opposite gender, he has to face general public. Although it in the instruction, in the traditional pattern, if you see, of varnashrama dharma, brahmachari should not even speak with a woman. You should not see a woman. That is the main rule. And even and also the sannyasi also, the same rules are applied here. But right now, we are living in an institution and the main goal is for preaching. That for that purpose, we are speaking with general public. We are speaking with grihasthas. So we cannot have a hard and fast rule right now. But the principle should not violate. That is very important. We should never forget the principle that the four regulatory principles should be strictly followed. That is, and especially the illicit relationship for a transcendentalist is very difficult. It's very abominable for him. Only a grihastha has a license. A grihastha is allowed to associate with women. Otherwise, no other ashrama is allowed. So these are the principles we should follow. Sometimes we may compromise with the rules and etiquettes, but principles should be safeguarded at any cost. So that is very important. But here the traditional pattern is that a sannyasi should only wear a loin cloth. It is written. A sannyasi should avoid carrying anything but danda. So danda and kamandalu for water, for drinking water and all that purpose, and for doing achman and all that. Kamandalu is required, which is filled with water. And a danda is like a Mayavadi sannyasi has ek danda and a Vaishnava sannyasi has three danda, 3 sticks. And Mayavadi is 1 stick because ekatvam, they believe that we and Lord and one only. And Vaishnava sannyasi, the importance of 3 danda is that kaya mana vacha, by mind, by body and words, one is serving Lord Krishna or Vishnu. That's why 3 dandi sannyasi. So many sannyasis carries this danda. But even a sannyasi in a higher order, Avadhuta or Paramhamsa, he doesn't need to carry a danda also. That is what it is written here. But in Varnashrama Dharma, and especially even in our Sampradaya, in Gaudiya Sampradaya, earlier there was no sannyasi. There was no saffron wearing people. There was no saffron clothes worn by any devotees. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur introduced Varnashrama Dharma and accepted sannyas order. and accepted Tridandi sannyasi. So in order to discipline, in order to attract the mainstream Vedic people or followers, Vedic followers also, this is very important, to follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures. All that is not required for a pure devotee of Lord. Like Srila Prabhupada once said that, even it is written in Srimad Bhagavatam, that when there was an opening of Vrindavan temple, ISKCON's Vrindavan temple, Prabhupada said there was no need to do any yajna. Just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can open the temple. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra or performing some kirtana, one can open the temple. But Srila Prabhupada performed the yajna, and he engaged the disciples to perform a very opulent yajna, so that one can attract the general mass. Because general people feel until there is a yajna happen, so how it is authorized? Because they don't know the essence of scriptures. This is in order to set an authority, in order to set a standard, when we need to perform some rituals also. So accordingly, similarly, a sannyasi is, in our Vaishnava sannyasi, we sannyasis keep danda, 3 dandi with them. Moving towards next verse. 3rd verse. Eka eva chared bhikshur.
एक एव करेत् भिक्षु
Atmaramo anapashrayah.
आत्मरामो अनपरश्रियः
Sarvabhuta suhrit shanto.
सर्वभूता सुहृच्छान्तो
Narayana Parayanah.
नारायणपरायणः.
The sannyasi, completely satisfied in the self, should live on the alms, begged from door to door, not being dependent on any person or any place. He should always be a friendly well-wisher to all living beings and be a peaceful, unalloyed devotee of Narayana. In this way, he should move from one place to another. Narayana parasarve na kutashana bibyati swarga apavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshana. So one should be Narayana para first. If he is sannyasi, it's very important that just because you are sannyasi, then you are not best. It's not necessary that you will attain the main goal of life. Until you are not Narayana para, you are not a devotee of Narayana. Okay, very important. And accordingly, because one is a pure devotee of Narayana, he is always peaceful. Na kutashana bibbati, is never in fearful state. Swarga pi narkeshu api tulyarthi darshana. For him, hell and heaven both are same. Because he is always in Krishna consciousness. That is the level of a pure devotee. And he is a well-wisher to all living beings. This is the nature of a sannyasi. He cannot be arrogant. He cannot be envious to anyone. Because sannyasi is envious with anyone. This cannot be called a sannyasi, actual sannyasi. He should have all the good qualities. Harava bhaktasi kuto mahatmana. A devotee, a non-devotee has no good qualities, but a devotee has all the good qualities. Yes, bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Sarvai gunetata samasate sura. All the good qualities manifest. So even a sannyasi should have all the good qualities. Arjun was saying that in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun was saying, Sheyom bhaiksham iha loke, is better to be a sannyasi rather than fighting such a ghastly war. But Krishna denied, because sannyasi is not made for you. And that's why in the sannyasi chapter, Lord Krishna explains the duty of a sannyasi or the nature of a sannyasi. And Arjun is a Kshatriya. If Arjun in a saffron robes, if he goes somewhere and asks to give some bhiksha or some alms, goes to some doorstep and someone criticizes him or someone offends him, then definitely a Kshatriya will not like it. And he may rebuke or he may counter that particular family man or family woman. This is definitely not expected for a sannyasi. A sannyasi should have all the Brahmanical qualities. Sama, dama, sapas, saucham, shanti, rajyavam, astikyam, brahma, karma, sabhavajam. He should be able to control his mind. He should be able to control his senses. He should have full faith in the Lord. He should fully dependent on the Lord, not dependent on any other living entity. This is very important. So all the Brahminical qualities a sannyasi should have. Like a Kshatriya can tolerate physical pain, but a Brahman cannot tolerate physical pain. A Kshatriya cannot tolerate insults, but a Brahman can tolerate insult. This is a difference. That is, sannyasi should be like a Brahman, and he should be detached from the bodily needs. He should be able to tolerate the pain also, like a Kshatriya. That is the sannyasi. So moving towards next verse, 4th verse. पश्येदात्मनि यदो विश्वम्
पश्येदमनयो विद्वं विश्वं
परे सदसतो अव्यये
परे सतो अव्यये
आत्मानं च परं ब्रह्म
आत्मानं च परं ब्रह्म
सर्वत्र सदसन्मये. A sannyasi should always try to see the supreme pervading everything and see everything including the universe, resting on the supreme. Okay, nothing is unrelated to Krishna. Everything is Krishna. So this is not a Mayavad concept or where thinking that everyone is God. This is not in that way. So taking an analogy of sunlight and sun planet, like the sun planet is localized. It has its own orbit and is localized somewhere. But sunlight is spread throughout the universe. Similarly, Lord Krishna is living in his own abode. Golok eva nivasati akhilatma bhuto. But his potency is manifested everywhere in his impersonal form. Like a prime minister sitting in his own cabinet. In India, a prime minister is in his cabinet or PMO, where in Delhi, but his power can be experienced in all the states. So similarly, the Supreme Lord Krishna, although residing in Golok Vrindavan, but his power and potency is spread everywhere. So his different manifestation. Prahlad Maharaj in the prayers, Bhagavan Narasimha, Tam Vayur Agnir Avanir Vyadambu Matra Pranendriyani Chidanam Anugrahascha Sarvam Tomeva Saguna Vigunascha Bhumam Nanyat Tvad Asat Astyapi Vachasa Manoniruktam. Prahlad Maharaj says that Tvam Vayur, you are wind, Agnir, fire, Avanir, this earth, Vyadambu Matra, ether, water, you are everything. All the five-men you are only. Why? Because Lord Krishna's potency. Like there is no difference between sun and sunlight. You cannot separate sunlight from the sun. Similarly, you cannot separate all these material objects from Lord. That's why everything is you only in that context. Tam Vayur Agnir Avanir Vyadambu Matra Pranendriyani. Even the prana, the living entities are you, because they are your part and parcel. Pranendriyani, Indriyani, the senses. Chidanugrahasya, even the mind, ego, intelligence is coming from you. Sarvam Tvameva, Saguna, Viguna. Whatever is there, either Saguna or Viguna, either personal or impersonal, everything is you. Nanyat Tvat Vachasa Mano Vachasa Niruktam. Whatever we can speak or whatever we can think, all those things are also you only. It's due to you only everything is coming in existence. This is the realization. This is the topmost realization, thinking that everything is related to Lord. This is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means even in the absence of personal form of Lord, still we can Still, we don't forget the relationship of Lord Krishna with every other thing, everything in this world. That is Krishna consciousness. When we see our mother, we should be able to remember Krishna, because mother is mother till then when there is Lord Krishna inside her heart. Father is father when till then where Lord Krishna is residing in his heart as Paramatma. It can be friend, it can be mother, it can be father, it can be boss, it can be anyone in this world. We are all relationships are based on only Lord Krishna. That's why very traditional words. Twameva mata cha pita twameva, twameva bandhu cha sakha twameva, twameva vidya cha dravinam twameva, twameva sarvam mama deva deva. You are the father, real father. Twameva mata, you are the real mother, you are the real father, you are the actual money. Okay? For everyone, money is very dear, but the most dearest thing is Lord Krishna. That we should be able to absorb this thing. This kind of philosophy is just not for saying, but this can come by the mercy of a Vaishnava and by practice. Okay, our efforts at the same time, mercy of the Vaishnavas. Then we will be able to get absorbed. That's why the first thing we should practice is not to hate anyone. The moment you start hating anyone, it means you think that this has no link with the Krishna. So we should be first Adveshta Sarvabhutana. Maitreva Karuna Evacha. We should have mercy for all the living entities. Have friendly relationship with all the living entities. That is the first thing at least we should do right now at this stage. In order to become a sannyasi, at least by heart, we should have this quality that we are friendly to, we are well-wisher of everyone. And that's why we have to preach. In this Gita Marathon, December, we are preaching Krishna consciousness. We are distributing books, Bhagavad Gita. This manifest, the mercy is manifesting through Srila Prabhupada books. That's why we should engage in this service properly. It's better to become a book distributor rather than a so-called sannyasi who is living in a Himalayas. Prahlad Maharaj says, Prayena Munayosva Vimukti Kama Maunam Charanti Vijanena Parartha Nishtha. Almost all the sannyasis who are living this material world and going to for austerity in Himalayas, they don't care at all for the general mass. But I am not among them, Prahlad Maharaj says. I am very much concerned about these so-called fools, these foolish people who are not ready to accept Krishna consciousness. So this is the pain of a real sannyasi, a real devotee. So moving towards the last verse, when we have a purport. Sukti prabodhayoh sandhav.
Sukti prabodhayoh sandhya.
Atmano gatimatmadrik.
Atmano gatimatmadrik.
Pashyan bandham cha moksham cha.
Pashyan bandham cha moksham cha.
Maya matram cha vastutah.
Maya
matram vastutah.
So during unconsciousness and consciousness, and between the two. So unconsciousness is ignorance. Especially in the sleep also you are in ignorance. And consciousness awake, that stage. And between the two, you can say like a dreaming state also here. You should try to understand the self and be fully situated in self. It means 24/7 Krishna conscious. So if you're sleeping, with this conscious one should sleep that tomorrow I have to chant, I have to do Mangalarti. Because obviously there was one question asked that how to meditate on Lord in sleeping. So the answer was, first you try to meditate Lord in a awake state, when you're conscious state, in your conscious state. That is not possible, then what to talk about sleeping right now? So he should try to understand the self and be fully situated in the self. In this way, he should realize that the conditional and liberated stages of life are only illusory and not actually factual. So this is a stereotype mentality one has, or one is aspiring for mukti or liberation. Sab jhanjat se chhutna. I don't want any problems in my life. Just I want to leave from, I just want to come out from the cycle of birth and death and just get liberated. This kind of conception is also illusion. Because until unless you're not in service of Krishna, you will never be happy. You cannot be satisfied at all. And obviously, in the conditional stage where you are attached to so many things, so many people, there also you will not be happy. So both conditions are not factual; they're illusory. With such a higher understanding, he should see only the absolute truth pervading everything. In everything is related to Krishna. One should be able to experience this. That is very important. Otherwise, one who is in the immature stage, he only worships deity and he disrespects the devotees of the Lord and he criticizes or blasphemes the living and other living entities, then definitely he will not get the real fruit of worshipping Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The unconscious state is nothing but ignorance, darkness, or material existence. And in the conscious state, one is awake. The marginal state between conscious and unconsciousness has no permanent existence, like a dream. A dream has no existence actually. So, therefore, one who is advanced in understanding the self should understand that consciousness and unconsciousness are but illusions, for they fundamentally do not exist. Only the Supreme Absolute Truth exists, as confirmed by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nacha anteshma. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So if Krishna is saying all beings are in me, then should we worship every living being? No. But I am not in them, Krishna is saying. Everything exists on the basis of Krishna's impersonal feature. Nothing can exist without Krishna. Like sun, planet is personal, and its rays, its light is impersonal. So impersonal energy is manifested everywhere, is spreaded everywhere, but sun is localized. Therefore, the advanced devotee of Krishna can see the Lord everywhere without illusion. So that is very important. It's an engineering like automobile engineer. When he sees cars, he has a different vision in seeing a car. A doctor, when he sees a patient, he has a different vision in seeing. By looking at a patient, he can understand what are the symptoms or what is the disease he is facing, because he has a knowledge of that particular field. He is expert in that. An automobile engineer is expert in that field. That's why just by looking at a car, he can understand what are the main characteristics or what are the main plus points and negative points of that particular car. Similarly, a devotee of the Lord, because he is well versed with Vedic knowledge, well versed with the philosophy, and absorbed in Krishna consciousness, he becomes very expert in seeing Lord in everything. That is the real main goal of life. The main goal of life is to see Lord everywhere. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachamena pranashyati. Yomam pashyati sarvatra, one who sees me everywhere. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati, everything is in me. When he sees in this way, neither I am lost to him, neither he is lost to me. Always connected. So this is the practice. So we should begin. A real sannyasi is the one not just perform austerities. There are some physical austerities and there is some internal absorption. There are two factors involved in becoming sannyasi. Everyone can become sannyasi. So what is the basic step? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Anashritaha karma phala karya karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha niragni na cha kriya. That is not a sannyasi, one who just don't cook or don't act. A real sannyasi is the one who acts, but he devotes all his fruits to Lord. He's not attached to fruits of his action, of his activities. That is a real sannyasi. This is a basic step one should at least follow first. Okay, first, we should be able to surrender, or we should be able to offer the fruits of our action to Lord and in to Lord's mission. And then we can expect we can become detached, because first basic thing we should do. So outer thing is physical austerity. Internal is absorption in Krishna consciousness, seeing Lord everywhere. So outer also affects the internal. Very important. It's not just like, for example, people say, why you make show off of becoming a sadhu? Why you are wearing dhoti kurta? Why you are wearing? Why you are putting tilak? Or why you are chanting on the beads? You can just chant in mind, or you don't have to do show off. But the people forget that external has an impact on the internal also. Like, for example, like a sadhu, a person who is in the dress code of a sadhu, if he wants to go to a pub, or he wants to go to Las Vegas, maybe they will accept it. But in India especially, if he wants to go to a pub, or he wants to smoke, and that also in this attire, if he goes there, people will laugh at him, or people will scold him. Are you a sadhu? What you're doing it? So this particular attire, this particular external also helps you to becoming internally absorbed. Okay, very important. So external matters. That's why in school we have uniforms. Why we have uniforms? To have uniformity. Okay, it's very important. And there are some firms who puts labels on the employees' clothes. Why they put labels? So that they can have a familiarity with the company, or have a belongingness for their own company, so that they can work more hard. So similarly, in order to be Krishna consciousness, the external austerities also matters. So we have Ekadashi also. We don't eat grains. Ideally, Prabhupada says that ideally one should not eat and drink in Ekadashi, but we don't have hard and fast rules, and we say that at least don't have food grains. So at least this much austerity we should do. We should be able to offer our hard-earned money in Lord's service. That is the gradual step by step one should have to become a renunciate, at least internally. May not be physically always, but at least internally. So this is what we learn from this particular chapter, and try to grasp the real essence, that for preaching purpose, we have to become internally detached. May not be externally we have to do show off of a renunciate, but the main purpose is to spreading the mission of Lord by acting as a well-wisher for each and every living entity, and being and seeing Lord everywhere, and living in Krishna consciousness in such a way. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So I hope, and any questions you have, you can ask right now.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for so blissful class, and you like so nicely mentioned all the qualities of a sannyas, like externally and internally, dear devotees. If you have any question, please feel free. Yes, Anita Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Very nice class, Prabhuji. Each and every verse you explained so well. It was very practical also. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. And yeah, so my question is like you are saying that we should see Krishna in everywhere. So, and it said that like we have to follow the rule of Priyanadapi Sunajena, but it does not come when we apply it practically. Like with the devotees, yes, we can follow that, but with the outsiders, no, with the non-devotees, it's not coming. Why is it like that? And in case of myself, when I say something about someone who is a non-devotee, but I internally I feel that I should not say, but still it's coming out. So how to see that, Prabhuji? How to control that?
What is the second question? Can you repeat again?
So we should not blaspheme anyone, right? So whether it is a devotee or non-devotee, right? So, but when we say, when it comes to a devotee, we are conscious, but when it comes to a non-devotee, it's not happening. So that's my question. So though the consciousness is saying that yes, you should not do this, but still it's coming out. The blasphemy is there. So why is it happening?
Understood. So this is a general tendency in living this. We are living in a material world. It's a general tendency, and especially in Kali Yuga. The Kali is related to Kalaha. Kalaha means fight, conflicts. So even if we see the news, the negative news are more because the demand for negative news is more. So people get very attracted with negative things or get hooked by negative things. And that's why we become very judgmental many times. We have to understand when we are in Krishna conscious movement, we should never think that we are pure. Number one. The moment we think that we are pure, then we become judgmental on others. So this practice should be there. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Saishuna. This is the basic principle as well as advanced principle is this only. The thinking oneself lowest. That is the internal hard work we have to do. Okay. We may say that okay, I'm not I'm not pure devotee and this and that. On while giving lecture, it's very easy to say I'm not a pure devotee, I'm this and that. But this is a very hardcore practice, and it is continuous practice as a daily practice. You cannot say I will take holiday from Trinadapi Surich in one day. It's a daily practice. So the point when it comes to devotees, also people are doing such mistakes. They blaspheme devotees many a times. People talk negative aspects of a devotees. They have to understand, very important, especially in the Dhruv Maharaj story. If you see Suruchi Mata, a stepmother of Dhruv Maharaj, she criticized and blasphemed Dhruv Maharaj when he was not devotee. But after the austerity, after achieving Lord Vishnu, after taking having a darshan of Lord Vishnu, later Suruchi Mata, who was a stepmother, her son Uttam died. He was killed by Yaksha, and Suruchi Mata, in the pain of separation from her son, where the son died in the forest, she ran in that particular forest, and the whole forest was burned in a fire, and she also got burned and she died. So then Srila Prabhupada writes that Vaishnava offense is so dangerous that even when you criticize, he was not a Vaishnava, Dhruv Maharaj was not a Vaishnava, but later on he became Vaishnava, then the offense fructified. So offense came into demonstration. So this is very important, we have to learn. So we become very judgmental even in sometimes in devotee circle, we have to stop that. And secondly, when it comes to outsiders, we have to be merciful rather than being critical. Very important. So if you are not being critical, then you will not be able to preach properly. If you see Srila Prabhupada, if he would have been critical in every aspect of people, then he would have not been able to preach at all. When all the people who are half naked, semi-naked, and fully naked were sitting in front of him, Srila Prabhupada took the lecture in a different way, completely. And he said, oh, it's very nice to remain without clothes. But just imagine how much happiness you will get when you will remove this covering of cloth which is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, just the body. How much you will become happy. So he's taken very positively, Srila Prabhupada, if you see. This we have to learn from our acharyas. So it's very easy. It's very difficult for we have to this blasphemy and this critical evaluation attitude just comes very easily because this is a habit from many births. We are having this habit. So to change it is not. It's not a one-day game. It will require many years also sometimes. So we practice. We sometimes again fall down. We again practice. Again fall down. We again practice. But one day this can be minimized at least minimized. So the practical tip what we can do is that if anything comes in your mind about negative, keep it in mind only. Don't utter it. That is the best thing you can do, right? Practically. First thing we should stop this at least. If in Kali Yuga, offense made in mind has no fruit. Okay, you will not get the reaction of it in Kali Yuga, especially. Okay, thank you so much. Or we can do one more practical tip, like if you are trying to blaspheme, if the blasphemy is coming in your mind about some person, then you can pray for that person. Okay, in this way you can counter. Okay, thank you so much.
Yes,
Anything?
thank you
I
so
hope you
much,
have understood.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, very, very practical. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for your very practical question. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving so blissful answers to that question. Shiva Prabhuji, can you please go ahead?
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Dr. Prabhu. Thank you so much for today's class, Prabhu. As always, very insightful and interesting. Prabhu, one question. You talked about the responsibility and the primary focus area for every ashrama. So, on that front, Prabhu, I just wanted to ask, for a grahastha who has to earn money in the current age of Kali and who has to kind of play a leader role in the family, I always think that the kind of behavior or the traits that we have to exhibit at work or at home, I think it is not fully conducive for bhakti, spiritual practice, uh, in comparison to a brahmachari who has dedicated his life and taken on bhakti as a full-time service, Prabhu. I'm just picking up the important point that you shared, that a Kshatriya can tolerate the bodily pain, but not an insult. And Brahmana can tolerate the insult, but not the physical pain. So on those lines, I see the traits that we have to exhibit at work and at home. I have opinion that it's not fully conducive for bhakti to practice spiritual life. I just wanted to hear from you, Prabhu, especially in the Kali Yuga, given the challenges that we have in the environment.
See, the point is not whether now we cannot do because we are in a family, or okay, these people can do because in ashram. Right now we should focus on what we can do. What we cannot do, that is not should be our focus. What we can do, definitely yes. When you are living in an ashram, you have more facilities and you have less outside challenges. But at the same time, even an ashram devotees has some challenges. Okay, you can say no challenges. There are some challenges which can be very heavy also. It depends upon one's prarabdha also, at the same time earlier karmic reactions also, because even a brahmachari has to face whatever karma he has done in previous life. It's not that he become one day pure devotee. Even he has to perform a lot of, he has to be very patiently, he has to live in ashram for 30 years, 40 years and purify himself. So it is there. So yes, definitely ashram has much more facilities and definitely has more chance of association with pure devotees and senior devotees, and he can take advantage of it. But at the same time, even he has chance of fall down also, greater chances of fall down, like doing offenses towards Vaishnavas, because he becomes too much familiar with the Vaishnavas, too much familiar with the Guru, too much familiar with the senior devotees. So both has plus and negative points. So right now, Grihasthas should focus on positive points. What are the positive points in Grihastha life? That you get first-hand experience of material life. Okay, the material life is too terrible. So material life is very terrible. Then this becomes an inspiration for you and impetus to you for you to practice Krishna consciousness and getting detached from material world. And sometimes a newcomer brahmachari, he may feel, oh, Grihastha living so nicely. So he can get attracted even to Grihastha life. And that's why so many people even living in ashram and they change ashram. Why? So it's not ashram a question. Right now, we should understand what are the plus point in Grihastha life. For a Grihastha, you should focus on plus point. So what are the first point? Okay, first hand experience of problems. Okay, so I will get detached. No more, nothing, no sansar now again. So let's the problems will inspire you to practice Krishna consciousness more. If there are no problems, they will become attached to this world. Always remember this. So Krishna knows everyone's struggle, and Krishna has his own. He is acting and reciprocating with each and every devotee on the proportion how much he surrender. So we don't have to be very expert. We just have to be surrendered. Expert. Karan was also expert. Arjun is also expert, but the difference is that Arjun is surrendered. So surrender is the quality Krishna is saying. You cannot do, confess to yourself, Krishna, I'm not able to do, I'm still trying, I'm not able to focus. So prayers, intense mercy from the Vaishnavas we have to seek by following the instructions of the Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada and Guru. So if you want to become detached, it's not an artificial way to become detached. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami want to leave his house. So he was trying his level best to leave his house, but he was caught by his family again and again, and he was taken back to the family again and again. But later on, he got the mercy of Nityanand Prabhu. Then he was able to leave his house. So renunciation to leave house, to leave family, that depends upon the Vaishnava, depends upon the Lord's mercy also. Okay, but it's okay if Lord has different plans for you, no problem. But accepting the situation, whichever position you have, just fight against Maya. But chanting strictly, Grihastha Brahmachari, he should chant strictly 16 rounds in the morning itself before going to office hours. He should not eat anything unoffered to Lord. If he practice this at least first, strictly, then definitely he will be progressing. There is no doubt about it. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope I helped you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, so practical and very crisp answer. And next, Sudhakar Prabhuji, can you please go ahead with your question? Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just have one small question on the clarification you were giving to earlier to one of the Mataji, saying that one should not criticize openly, but criticizing in mind is acceptable in Kali Yuga.
No.
You
Criticism
mentioned.
not. I'm not saying criticism in mind is okay. I'm saying stop it at the mind itself. Don't let it come in through your words.
This is somewhere a bit confusion to me. That's why I asked. When it is in the mind, what I heard from other people is, once a thought has come to your mind, that is considered as an action in Karma Yoga, right? Whether you do it physically or not, you've already done that act in the mentally is considered an act. What's what I learned. So it doesn't matter whether you really speak out or not. Yes, if you speak out, it has a direct influence on other people, which is good or bad, whether it is a preaching or it is insult. But internally, if you have done such thought, I was told that it is a sin, right? So this is what I just want to clarify with you.
Yes, actually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, Srila Prabhupada writes that sin in the mind in Kali Yuga is not count. Okay. And pious activity done in the mind also it is counted. Okay. The Kali Yuga speciality is this. So here, I'm not saying that you should meditate on that. Definitely, when one is have the thought of blaspheming someone, so stop that in the mind itself and try to divert your attention in praying for that person. That is the tip I have given. So obviously, if you start meditating on it, then it will lead to action. There is no doubt about it. Dhyayato vishayan pumsam sangas seshu bajayate sangas sanjayate kama kamat krodha vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammoha smriti vibrama smriti bhramshat buddhi nashat pranashyati. Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, the sequence is given. The moment one starts meditating on a sense object, he will want to associate with that object. And then what will happen? Then the lust will come. Then after lust, anger will come. And then anger, he will forget what is good for him. The memory will be lost. Then he will be completely lost in the whirlpool of material existence. Fall down, complete fall down. So one must stop that in before meditating in it. So one should divert. That's why chanting is very important. That's what I'm specifying. But yes, one, if by mistake the thought comes about someone, some negative thought, definitely will not have reaction on it immediately, because Lord is not so harsh on you. Okay, Lord also knows that he's calling people. So people are given some license, but at the same time, he should be in discipline also. Okay, thank you so much.
Like Prabhu, sorry, just to, we learn, right, inattentive chanting. You chant, for example, whatever 16 rounds or 1 round. But if your mind is not there, it is not counted, right? So we learn that is aparad.
No.
How does it really?
See, we have to understand when an advanced lecture is given for an advanced class of people. Sometimes it's said that it's very important that one should chant attentively. You're just chanting 16 rounds, it's just an exercise, jaw exercise. This is for advanced people, okay? But actually, if you see that the scriptures, apanna shamshiti moran yannama vivashato granan tato sabda vimocheta yad viveti swayam bhayam. Even if one chants forcefully without meditating, even the fear will fear him. That is the verse translation is. Example is Ajamila. Ajamila has not chanted the holy name of the Lord by meditating on the Lord. Okay, by attending. He just chanted by addressing the sun. But he chanted without doing any offense. The 10 offenses, okay, of the holy name. So even if it is unattentive, the holy name has so much power that it can liberate that person. Okay, very important. Definitely that quality of holy name will not give him Krishna prem, love towards Krishna, but at least it will liberate him gradually. So it's not to demotivate someone. Okay, if you're chanting 16 rounds, if your mind is not cooperating with, you have wasted your time. It's nothing like that. Okay, you are making a good use of time, but you should do a conscious effort. That is very important, and people are lacking this. People are not making conscious effort to become attentive. The effort will be counted. Krishna is very merciful. Even if you put efforts, Krishna is not seeing your result. Okay, Krishna is seeing your efforts. A mother is seeing the effort of her child, how much he's making, he's trying to crawl or he's trying to stand himself. Mother becomes happy in that thing only, how much effort he's doing. So he may not be perfect in it. So Krishna is not looking for perfection. Krishna is looking how much time you are investing for him, how much time you are putting efforts, how much hard work you are doing to attain him. That will be counted. Okay. So regarding mind cooperating in the Hari name, that will come gradually at a mature stage by the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for wonderful answer to Shivakumar Prabhuji. And Shivakumar Prabhuji, thank you for your question. And it's a great learning for me too, and a reminder for me too, conscious effort. Actually, Krishna sees the conscious effort of us that we are trying to do our chanting nicely. And Prabhuji, I have a question. Like as you mentioned, the dharmas of each asrama, like dan for grihastha, detachment for vanaprastha, and preaching for sannyasi. I missed the one for brahmachari. What was that, Prabhuji?
The main activity of a brahmachari, a traditional brahmacharis, is swadhyaya, studying scriptures. Main activity for a grihastha is charity and serving devotees, or it can be even atithi also, it can be serving elders also, and serving the devotees of the Lord and sannyasis also. And the main activity of a vanaprastha is austerity, and sannyasi is preaching.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And another question I have that Paramahamsa sannyasis do not even accept danda, like they do not need to accept danda as you mentioned. Like, can you mention why? Like, because
Paramahamsa is not bound by any Vedic rules and regulations. Shrotavya sutasya cha yadate mohi kalilam yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishati tada gante se nivedam shrotavya sutasya. This is Bhagavad Gita verse in second chapter, yadate moha kalilam. One who has crossed the dense forest of delusion, there is nothing for him to be heard, or there is nothing for remain, nothing. There is no need for him to follow any Vedic scriptures, rules, and regulations, because he's gone beyond that. Like a person who is a crorepati, who has crores of rupees, he don't have to become a lakpati, or he wants to earn a lakh rupees like that. A person who is a PhD, he don't have to learn again 10th standard. Okay, so similarly in that way he has gone beyond. So Paramahansa is very highest stage in spiritual elevation, where he's not on the bodily platform, he's completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. That's why Srila Prabhupada has accepted a position of Parivajaka is below Paramahansa stage. Because in order to preach, if one is Paramahansa, he will not be able to preach only. A Paramahansa stage, he sees everyone as devotee of Lord. Okay, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Paramahansa stage. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is also Paramahansa, but he accepted a stage of Parivajaka so that he can preach general people. Paramahansa people hardly associate with any living beings, any materialistic people. So there are different things. So although one can be on Paramahansa stage, but he will, Srila Prabhupada is accepting a lower stage deliberately in order to preach. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful answer. Dear devotees, if we don't have any further question, dear Prabhuji, can we end the call here? With your...
Yes, thank you.
Dear devotees, please like offer our humble obeisances to our Prabhuji and
अच्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत की जय।
जय
राधे
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 कृष्ण
राधे राधे
गौरंगा
गौरंग
नित्यानंद
नित्यानंद